Hello and welcome. Now this is my first video of 2019 and I first wish to say Happy New Year to all of you and I hope you had great holidays. And also I wish to start it off with something related to my favorite computer of all, the Commodore Amiga. So let's get started. And just a quick moment before we continue, I wish to show something that has been very kindly donated to me. Now this cute little keychain has been donated to me by Hinde and it is absolutely adorable actually. It's a miniature Amiga 500 and it's been printed, 3D printed, and I'm just amazed at the detail on this thing. It's just exact. Every little ridge, every little detail is just there. This had been sent to me a little while ago, but I haven't done an Amiga video since, so I just wanted to, show it at the best time, to be honest, because it deserves it. Also, if you wish to contact Hinde about these, he's selling them. I will link his details in the description below. So, today what I'm going to do is more power supplies for the Amiga. I've been requested to by two friends and also one of my own. But I'm going to do them, all three of them, with different configurations. Let's put that there because you've got mischief on your mind. Okay, I'm going to do 3 different configurations. Now, firstly, my own. Now this one some of you will remember from my CD32 video, which if you haven't watched, the link is in the description below, or the letter in the top corner. Anyway, this one I did put as a makeshift, just to test the CD32 out, I just connected it, but I want to do it properly now. And also, not only that, I wish to do a power the Amiga 500 from this and make it, be able to switch between the outputs for the CD32 and the 500. I'm going to install it in the original 500 case here, the power supply case. I have the switch here, and I have a Amiga Square DIN connector here. So anyway, that's mine. Now, 2 of my friends, Wayne and Scott, they each asked for a power supply from me for me to make them one, and Scott's asked for the standard plain power supply. Now Wayne has actually asked for extra banana jacks to be added on the back of his, so he can has the option to power other things. So I got those and some power switches for both of them from Aliexpress, 2 Meanwell PSUs from Aliexpress as well, and I got 2 of these wedge style cases, which they like, and a lot of people seem to have liked these from eBay. So yeah, Scott wants his normal and Wayne wants his painted. Actually, Scott, he said he wanted his painted black, if I remember. So I will spray paint his black and spray paint Wayne's, as he requested, the metallic blue, which I did on my Amiga, the beautiful motif one. So first things first, what I'm going to do is just, before doing anything electronic, I want to actually just drill the holes for each one of them and make sure, just get the hole drilling out the way. So I can, start painting these and priming them, getting ready for spray painting. Now first things first, the power switches for these, create the holes for those. I've decided to do them at the center anyway because it's going to disturb that screw thread, which, I don't want to do that. Okay, first things first, let's screw them shut so they don't slip out and open, since I'm doing it, at a split anyway. one thing I mentioned last time in my Amiga PSU videos about the original PSUs that bothered me was, well, forget the fact that they're low power, was the fact that, you know, this thing freaking comes out the front, this thing comes out the back. You know, it would be so much better if both of them came out the back, which is how I designed the, you know, this thing. I put both of the wires at the back, which is exactly what I'm going to do here, and what I will do on this one eventually. Okay, so first let's measure out Wayne's. He wants, because he wants the ones with the banana jacks there. Now I need to kind of like make sure everything fits right. Okay, so let's just switch to the front. So let's just, yeah, let's put it here. Give some room for the switch. Oops. Switch here. Now at the back. Okay, so I've measured everything up here, and I've marked up, you know, exactly where I want to drill. 3 of these banana jacks are going to be put here. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 for the Amiga output and the mains input here. So, yeah. And on Scott's, it's just simple. It's just 1 for the Amiga output and the output for to the Amiga, and then the mains input here. So now that the holes are done on both of them, I'm just gonna prep them now for the spray paint. And yeah, the usual scouring pads with the sponge I've got downstairs is it's for non-stick, so it's gonna be too freaking mild. So I've decided to use one of these instead. Actually, with these you can even replace your soldering iron scraper, whatever it is, with one of these. They're just really cheap. So I'm just gonna like take the, yeah, you can see what's happening because the layer is coming off. I'm gonna take the top layer of this very gently, so the primer can just adhere onto this. Okay, so that is done. Let's get the paints. Take everything downstairs and start off on this. Right, so we're down here, and what I've actually done is washed these so there's no, you know, oil or dirt or anything like this on them, so they don't, you know, so there's an even coat on these. So what we need to do first is prime these. So with the plastic primer here. Okay, so once the primer has now set, we just start with the first coat. Again, I'm going to do metallic blue on Wayne's, and I'm going to do black gloss on Scott's. Scott decides to change his mind, you better tell me soon. I've messaged him. Okay, so these are now touch dry. So let's apply the second coat on these. As I said, with this one, the camera just does not do it justice. And that is the glossy black, which is a little hard to see on camera, I have to admit. Now what I need to do basically is just leave these two to you know, cure and set for like about 1 hour or something like this, and then put a coating of a gloss, the outer gloss on it, the outer coating, which will, you know, protect the paint and just give it a bit of a, will bring out the metallic on that and the gloss on this. Okay, so while that's, you know, curing or setting downstairs, what we're gonna do is just do the electronics here. I'm just gonna, you know, put the wires on, solder the wires on the switch itself, and also the banana sockets, the banana jacks. I got some wire over here which I can use. Actually, I find that broken PSUs, as in, you know, broken computer PSUs, are actually pretty good for spares. Now you can get a lot of good wire, and also, you know, fans and stuff like this, and heat sinks and capacitors. It's like back in the 90s, you'd be so happy that, you know, you'd find an appliance on the street or something like this, or in a back alley, because you could just salvage so much electronics from it. But nowadays it's like everything's surface mounted, you know, fine, okay, it has its purpose, but you know, it's just, there's nothing much you can do, nothing much is serviceable. It's the freak. This flux or super glue. Okay, so these illuminated switches can be a little bit confusing, you know, when you're wiring them. They're simple, but just can be confusing every now and then. So what I'm going to do is just show you exactly how to wire them. Just tin that. Right, okay, so neutral from, this is coming from your mains, right? The neutral goes to the copper one. Actually, wait. Before I do that, heat shrink tubing, let's just put some in there. So, you know. Okay, so another neutral wire, just like a small wire, which goes to the actual powers of PSU itself. Okay, so heat shrink tubing, just push it onto terminal, copper terminal. Now the live coming from the mains goes straight to the end one here. Because that's the switch part. No! The freaking heat shrink tubing. Okay. I always forget that. Okay, so the center one connected, the live comes from there. That's the switch. Okay, just to recap here, neutral goes to the copper terminal, and then also another comes from the copper terminal, the same one, and connects to the PSU. Now live comes from the mains, goes into this end one, and then the switch, of course, then comes from the center one. Then the center one you connect to the PSU, so you know it'll be switching on and off, along with the neon lamp inside here, and that's pretty much it. It's simple. It can just be a little confusing. That's all. Right. So let's just put heat shrink tubing there, and I love watching heat shrink tubing shrink. Something satisfying about it. So that's the power switch done. That's where you connect to the power supply. Now let's pin these. I need to do the other one for Scott actually. But anyway, before we do that, let's tin the banana plugs. These banana plugs have been melted silly. Literally non-functional. What the freak? How are you supposed to solder them then? Okay, this is screwed up. If this doesn't work, how? It's already starting to freaking melt inside. How are you supposed to use these? It's so stupid. Plug something in it. You cannot plug anything in it. What a stupid freaking... They're not supposed to be soldered. Freaks. Ah. Just burned myself. Stupid thing. I freaking molded them back into place. Stupid plugs. Okay, so I've managed to mold these banana sockets back into freaking position. So yeah, they are stuck sturdy, and they do, you know, plug in actually more snug than they did before. So that kind of is more of a positive. Yeah, definitely more snug than before, so I think I improved them. Anyway. So I'll put them in there. Wayne can decide if he wants to change them or not. Or, you know, put some other connector, which I do recommend, to be honest. Okay, so I've done Scott's now. Let's test the lamp. Let's plug it in. It should not come on. Yep, it doesn't. Okay. Unplug. Turn it on. Yay, it works. Fantastic. So we are here the next day. It's a gorgeous sunny day, and these are done. They're looking pretty good actually. I've added the top coating to them, and yeah. So let's start, you know, putting everything inside them and, you know, securing everything in. Start with Wayne's actually. Just get the difficult one done. You know, with regards to painting my Amiga, most of the people have liked it. But there have been a few people who have said, oh, you know, I can't believe you're painting your Amiga, I cannot watch, you know, so forth. First of all, it was an old case. Secondly, even if it's not an old case, I would rather paint it than retrobrite it. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not comfortable with retrobriting at all. I mean, at first I was gonna, you know, go ahead and retrobrite the case. Because the case that I used for the Amiga was, don't forget, a spare one, a really rough looking one which I bought. And it would have needed some severe retrobriting. And yeah, I'm not comfortable with that. It just makes the plastic brittle. It does make the plastic bitter, I'm sure if you taste it. But it makes it brittle, and I'm sure, and also I've heard that after a year's time, I've actually seen, after a year's time it just goes back to yellow and just gets worse. So if you keep retrobriting, you know, stuff, it's gonna give at some point. So yeah, I decided to spray paint it. I mean, I've also got my original case, don't forget, which actually is fine, does not need retrobriting. That if I want to change if I have a change of heart and I want it to look like a stock, Amiga 1200 again, I can always, you know, swap back into its original case. What the freak is up with you? Okay, that's the main side of it done. Just that cable needs to... No! Actually, no, it's fine. The other end, for a second I thought, you know, okay, I need to put this through here first, but the other end is, you know, free. It doesn't have a plug, so it's fine. So I want to put my cable tie to stop it from, you know, it's acting as a cable grip. I don't have any of those cable grips left. I don't know, I thought I had, but I hadn't. Okay, one thing done, that's... Nice, perfect fit. Hot glue to insulate it because I don't have heat shrink tubing that big. We need to extend these. I miscalculated these and I need to you know, make them longer. Freaking Wayne, there's such a pain you are having to do this. Actually, no. Bless him, that'll make him feel guilty. I did ask him, do you want any extras? And he said, yeah, he wants, you know, banana jacks as an output. So I did ask him. But he's still a pain. He knows for what reasons for. So is Scott, actually. And if you know Wayne and Scott, you leave them alone together, they'll just start talking about freaking bumps and busts and Vaseline. I need to double check again the wire colors because, you know, it's an Amiga and it's powering an Amiga, and I need to kind of, like, you know, completely double check. It's always annoying doing two wires at once. I know people say solder them together, but I'm not fully comfortable in doing that simply because, you know, it's like turns into a solid piece, and these connectors, you know, you need to press down so it grips on them. It's not easy for them to grip on a solid piece, or at least how I imagine it anyway. Okay, so we need to find it out. Okay, V2 and V3, I forgot. What are they? So let's check on this one. Okay, V2 is plus 12 volts, V3 is minus 12 volts. So V2, so V3 is minus 12 volts, and I'm assuming it's the white wire here. I highly recommend, if you're gonna do this, I highly recommend you just double checking everything, connectors, everything. You don't want to mess around with the power supply of, you know, doing anything wrong. Any mistake will screw things up big time. Okay, actually, that needs this to be paired with this. Okay, so the bottom right there is 5 volts. So let's double check. Yep. Top left is 12 volts. V2. Center is minus 12 volts. Yep. And bottom left is shield, top right is ground. So shield doesn't connect to anything. Ground. Yep, there we go. Okay, it's all right. However, the pinout for this and everything, please do your own research. I'm gonna be responsible for anyone screwing their Amiga up. In fact, I wouldn't like you to screw your Amiga up. That would hurt me more. Now, I'm gonna feed these cables underneath because, you know, it just makes things tidy. Maybe this one not, but this one underneath. I'm gonna hot glue these cables down so they just don't goof around. Just to keep them there. Nice heavy duty glue gun. It heats it up really hot so that, you know, it adheres better. Okay, so mains cable here goes through that hole. I need to put 2 cable ties on that. On the Amiga output, so it doesn't snag or anything. So it doesn't pull on anything in case it snags. Okay, so that's in the back, it's very secure. That's not gonna freaking budge at all. The cables are tied very well, so anyway, let's just push the switch in, and that's all we need to do for this, and then just test it. Okay, so there we go, that's done. Now, Scott's turn. I'm gonna test something, actually. Continuity between plus 5 volts and ground. It seems to be just like a full... Because that confused me, I thought I'd short something. But it's because it's just, the resistance is so low when it's off. Yeah, it's like 30 ohms. So that's what it's gonna be. Okay, as long as it's not a direct short. And of course it's gonna, you know, the short's not gonna be there when it's on. Okay, that's live. And it's neutral. Okay, so we just need to wire this up again. Wire this up for Scott. Put it feeding from underneath. Okay, let's do checks on this again. What? Oh, that's why there's no beep, because it's switched off. Freaking. There we go. Okay, it's not connected to anything else, right? That's fine, that's fine. Just 12 volts. Okay. Now, center minus 12 volts. Okay. Then top right is ground. Okay, that's normal. Okay. Bottom right 5 volts. Okay. And then the other one's shield. So those are fine. Okay, so we have these both connected to the mains. Let's test the voltages now. We test Scott's first. Let's put it on the ground, which is top right. And pull the sleeve down, make sure there's no shorting. Okay. Okay. Yes, you can hear some noise when there's no load on them. So let's check the bottom right, which is 5 volts. Yep, 5 volts. The center should be minus 12. Yep. The top left should be 12, right? Bottom left, of course, is shield. Okay, switch Scott's off. Let's test Wayne's. Good, works. Top left 12 volts, yes. Center is minus 12 volts, yes. And bottom right is 5 volts. And then the other one's shield. Fantastic. Now on Wayne's, let's test. Okay. This should be 12 volts. Yep. And this should be 5 volts. Fantastic. Yep. Great. Yay, they work. Okay, so I have my spare Amiga 500 out. The spare one with the nice hand keys, which I'm not gonna retrograde. Anyway, yeah, this one works. There's the third one which doesn't work, which I'm gonna try and fix. Anyway, this is connected to the monochrome out because I don't have the RF modulator at hand. It's somewhere. I can't bother finding it when you're testing anyway. So yeah, you'll just see like a monochrome, you know, a kickstart image. So yeah, let's test Scott's. Okay, good start. Yay! Well, really bad picture, but still, yay, it works. Fantastic. It doesn't have a disk drive as well, which is why that light is on. Okay, let's test Wayne still. Yeah, it's gonna work, isn't it? Result! So yeah, I'm gonna be shipping each of these off to Wayne and Scott so they can enjoy their Amigas. Okay, so since this video has already become long, I'm gonna do the third one, the one which I said that I'll be doing for my gorgeous CD32, and also the Amiga. It'll have 2 outputs, but you can switch between each. I'm gonna do that in the next, in another video. So yeah, do stick around for that. For now, I'm going to, you know, call it a day or 2. Thanks so much for your likes, your shares. Do leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to check out my other videos and do subscribe for more. And don't forget to hit that bell icon. Also, do follow me on Facebook, on Twitter, and also on SoundCloud. I also wish to say thanks so much to my patrons for all your support. It means a lot. And if you wish to see my patrons' websites or YouTube channels, they are linked in the description below. For now, I will say adios!